Will had originally planned to make some money by hunting, but just as he was about to pull the trigger, he accidentally discovered a stack of cash scattered at his feet, not knowing who had thrown it on the ground. At first, he thought he had hit the jackpot and found a windfall. But when he looked in the direction the money had come from, he immediately realized that things weren't that simple. Not far away, there was a corpse lying on the ground, with a parachute beside it. It seemed that the person had died from a failed parachute jump. Next to the body was a black bag, and the money Will had just picked up had fallen out of it. A full $2 million. However, instead of getting excited about such a large sum of money, Will became fully alert. Because there was also a pistol in the bag, it was clear that the money was not clean. But this place was rarely visited by people, and there was no one around. Who would know that the money had been taken by him? After a brief hesitation, Will decided to take the money away. He didn't know that it was this choice that would lead him into a deadly trap. Back at the car, Will was about to count the amount in the bag when suddenly a car slowly stopped in front of him and two men got out. When they saw Will, they took the initiative to say hello, but Will was worried about being discovered and chose to remain silent. Unexpectedly, the other party suddenly changed their attitude and told Will straight up that the money was theirs and demanded that he return it immediately, or else he would face the consequences.
No.
John saw that Will was unmoved and suddenly signaled to his companion to open fire. But their target was not Will himself, but his BMW. As long as the car was damaged, no matter how good Will was, he wouldn't be able to escape. However, how could Will bear to hand over the $2 million he had already gotten his hands on? He turned around, raised his gun, and fought back, shouting, "The money is here! Come and get it if you can!" The two sides quickly engaged in an intense gun battle in the woods. Will, using the cover of the trees and his flexible positioning, suppressed the two men until they had to hide behind the car and didn't dare to show their heads. Mercenary John let out a cold laugh, not expecting that Will, who seemed honest, turned out to be a tough nut to crack. After several rounds of firefight, Will found that his hunting rifle had run out of bullets. In a moment of desperation, he rushed towards his backpack, pulled out a flare gun, bit it in his mouth, then punctured the gas tank on the car and threw it several meters away. Then a flare ignited the gas tank. As the white smoke spread, Will took the opportunity to grab the money bag and escape into the forest. Having hunted in this area for many years, he was very familiar with the terrain, but Will didn't know that there was a tracking device hidden in the bag. On the other side, John had already assembled new companions. They planned to encircle Will from 3 directions and eventually annihilate him. Soon, John was the first to find his trail. After a brief exchange of fire across a small river, Will continued to flee, but he didn't know that someone had already set up an ambush in front of him. The newly arrived Tony quietly approached and sprayed Will with his submachine gun. Will did not engage him head-on, but turned around and hid in the woods. As an experienced hunter, he was better at ambushing. He circled around, and when Tony was searching for his tracks, he suddenly launched an attack from the dark, hitting him with one shot. Tony fell to the ground on the spot. Will continued to flee, but found that his abdomen was in excruciating pain. It turned out that during the fight with Tony, he had been shot by accident, which seriously slowed down his escape speed. Fortunately, Will's friend often hunted nearby. As long as he could find her, there was hope of staying alive and still being able to take away the $2 million. After gritting his teeth and persisting for a distance, Will finally found his friend's location in the woods. But unfortunately, she was not in the car. After sending his friend a voice message, Will collapsed and fainted. When he woke up, his friend had already treated his wound. Mary didn't ask much about where Will's injury came from, but showed a strong interest in the money in the bag.
What the hell, Will?